welcome to the monologue. Here at the monologue, we take a thematic deep dive into the works of Mike Flanagan, exploring recurring motifs, creative processes, and collaborations in the Flaniverse. And of course, the monologue. My name is Cecilia, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Kelsey and Riley. Say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We are focusing again on another monologue, and this time a set of two monologues. And that is
Whoa, it's two for today.
Erin Green's What Happens When You Die monologues from Midnight Mass.
They go together though.
Wow.
So even though it's two
Yeah.
monologues, it's like one super monologue.
So for those who are not familiar with Midnight Mass, what is Midnight Mass?
So Midnight Mass is
It's when you go to Mass at midnight on Easter.
I mean,
With your
yes,
family.
like that is kind of part of the title, or like that is like the Midnight Mass that is in the title. But it starts off, how much detail? Well, it's not really a spoiler because it's been out for how many years now? Like,
We're talking about the whole
Years
show, so if
at
you
this
haven't
point,
seen
I
it
think.
yet,
all right,
you should go
so
watch it.
Spoilers, you've been warned.
the series starts with a character named Riley Flynn, and at the very beginning of the show, he is arrested for drunk driving, and he hit and killed someone. So that's what you see right away, and then his character is kind of wrestling with sobriety, fighting sobriety. Throughout, he comes back from his job. Is it like New York City? Did we find out where he
Chicago,
is?
I
Chicago.
think.
Some
Big city
The
somewhere.
big
big city
city.
on the
big city.
mainland, and he returns to the island, Crockett Island, where he grew up. He is like reacquainted with Erin Green, who was like his childhood love interest, who has also returned. She had left the island and came back to escape an abusive relationship, and the island receives a new priest at their little church around the time that Riley returns, and then bizarre things and miracles begin occurring, and you find out as the show goes on that maybe there's more of a sinister element to these changes than actual miracles.
Yeah.
That was a really good sum up of the show. If I hadn't seen it already, I would be, thrilled to watch that.
It's very much Mike Flanagan's answer to Stephen King's Salem Lot. Like, Midnight Mass might be the best Salem's Lot adaptation that we've ever gotten that was not actually a Salem's Lot adaptation.
Spiritual
Did anybody
adaptation.
watch the Salem's Lot that finally showed up on HBO?
It was not good.
Yeah, I heard it was bad.
It was a huge letdown. It sucked that we had to wait so long for something that seems like studios just interfered with until it turned into generic slop.
It had some really cool cinematography, I guess you would say. Like, some of the way that some of the shots were done was really cool, but it just the casting was not great. It took a big swing and it didn't make
and
a
a
hit.
big old miss.
Yeah.
But that's okay because we've got this now.
Yes.
This is a limited series. It's on Netflix. Came out in 2021. It's 7 episodes. If you got Netflix, you can go watch it right now. But let's jump into the monologues. So we've got two monologues that take place in two different episodes, but are very much the same theme. Our first episode. Yeah. The first monologue happens in episode 4, Lamentations. It's between Erin and Riley. It's after Erin has lost her child. She was pregnant, and then all of a sudden she's not pregnant. So it's her dealing with the grief of losing her child, and she and Riley have this really beautiful conversation about what they think happens when they die.
It's a curtain call. Dream to end wild dreams. One last great dream as my mind empties the fucking missile silos, and then I stop.
And that's what we mean when we say heaven. No mansions, no rivers of diamonds or fluffy clouds or angel wings. You are loved. And you aren't alone.
They're really light ones, so glad we're doing these today.
A lot to unpack there.
Yeah, they're definitely monologues, I think, of both grief and also of kind of like wishes. Like, it's both about Riley dealing with feeling like he needs to serve a purpose because of all the terrible he did in the world. So he doesn't go on pretty much after he's dead, but his body is used. And then Erin's, which is she unexpectedly lost a child. And it is kind of that thing when you lose somebody, you just kind of, you hope it's not completely over because you really do kind of want to see them again and you want them to be happy.
Well, I think that's just heaven in general is wishful thinking. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I really like the way that Erin describes it and the way that in the juxtaposing monologue that she has at the end, it's very different what she believes for herself than what she wishes for her lost daughter. I also really like in both Riley and Erin's monologues, they compare different parts of existence or non-existence to dreaming, because it's like what I don't know if other people feel like this, but I don't feel like I never existed. I feel like I was kind of in a dream and then woke up and started existing like with every other conscious thing, and it's probably just going to be a cycle that repeats because we're all energy and just being recycled through the cosmos.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like going to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as you fall asleep, you just kind of like wake back up. You don't really remember that time
Yeah.
being asleep unless you have some wild dreams. But even those are happen pretty quickly.
Who did my girlfriend go on an Alaskan cruise with in her dream the other night? Some YouTuber. Spooky Astronauts, if anyone watches her on
Oh,
YouTube. Yeah, it sounds fun. But yeah,
that's
dreams are weird, man.
Mm-hmm. I used to keep a dream diary of all the weird dreams that I had because I had so many bizarre ones.
Oh my god, you should dig it out one day. I definitely want to hear about them.
My this is a little off topic. My grandpa used to say that if you were a very creative person and you didn't have enough creative outlets in life, that would seep into your dreams. And so he
Oh,
always said
that's
when you
right.
had really bizarre dreams, that was like your creative outlets trying to go to work.
Oh, wow.
interesting.
I mostly just have anxiety dreams.
Me too.
Yeah, so.
I like the theory that dreams are like your brain trying to dissect like the day and figure out like what's going on.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. My dreams are always pretty wacky, but also very easy for me to usually interpret. Be like, oh, I dreamed of this because I'm stressed out about this.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
can usually kind of tell, like, oh, this is a problem that I'm facing in life. And so this is how my brain decided to interpret it in the dream.
All of my dreams, my stress dreams, I am lost somewhere or late for something. So,
Always. I'm
Oh,
always late.
yeah.
Late dreams are the worst.
I
So
had a
that's pretty,
dream.
yeah.
I can't remember if it was last night or if it was the night before that I was lost and I couldn't figure out how to get back to where I needed to go and my GPS wasn't working. And so like I like threw out one of those like in Roger Rabbit, the Roger Rabbit ride at Disney, he throws out this like hole to like this like here's a black hole, this will save you. And so I threw that out and so I like drove through. It looked like I drove through the building, but I didn't. I went through the
Oh my
hole and then
god.
I ended up where I needed to be. It was so weird.
You created like a time space,
Like
what
a
is it, a
tunnel
wormhole?
that yeah.
Like a Looney Tunes, like, yeah, secret passageway.
But anyway, so back to the monologues at
Yeah.
I
hand.
mean, I think dreaming is actually something that does all these monologues, I think, have in common, especially like Erin
Mhm.
monologue talking about her daughter's afterlife is she talks a lot about dreams. And I mean, in her big monologue at the end, it's, we're the cosmos dreaming of itself. So I think dreams are like very prevalent.
I mean, that is true. I mean, again, because her child like was never born, and so she wouldn't have any actual experiences like to think on. So like
Mhm.
dreaming or unconsciousness
No.
is the only thing that it knows.
Yeah, she was never awake. She was just dreaming until God called her back up. And then she got to wake up in heaven in this beautiful land where everybody loves her and there's only good things. And
And Erin's mom is certainly not there because she makes it a point to not say her mom
to,
is in heaven.
yeah,
I
she's
noticed
like,
that.
my grandfather, my great grandma. That's
The
it.
people who
Or,
didn't
yeah.
abuse me are there. You don't have to deal with my alcoholic mom. So that was pretty nice as wishful thinking goes.
Yeah. I mean, both her and Riley are definitely going through grief. And I think that also kind of shapes their monologues. I mean, Riley's I think is very obvious that he regrets, having gotten drunk and getting behind the wheel of a car and accidentally taking a life. And it's something he really grapples with. So his monologue being all about like, I need to make amends, I need to pay service, I don't care what really happens to myself, my consciousness is
Mhm.
irrelevant compared to the harm I need to make up for.
Riley regrets like choices that he made. Like he could have made other choices, and so he feels responsible for what happened. But the situation with Erin, spoiler alert, I guess, for people who haven't seen the show, the baby dies because the priest who's on the island is putting, they don't use the word vampire, but basically vampire
It's
blood in the,
vampires.
yeah, in like the communion wine. And so Erin had ingested that from going to church, and so the vampire blood decided to, like, it was
It
kind
heals
of
the
like,
body, so
yeah,
it
it
views
heals,
the baby as a parasite, so it
yeah.
gets rid of it.
So I mean, that's not really like, she would not have foreseen that like going to church would lead to the baby disappearing or dying.
Which I think is a
Yeah, and
great
that
metaphor for like, hey man, sometimes you're trying to do this thing with good intentions, but there's just so much evil within the system already that it's going to destroy you in ways you never could have thought of. Anyway, fuck the Catholic
religion, she
Church.
wild.
Ugh. She
Oh, we got a
crazy.
cool new pope now, though.
I heard he seems
USA.
cool.
USA.
They're getting cooler by the century.
I remember Mike saying in press that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Riley's monologue about what he thinks will happen when he dies is like Mike's own personal view of what he thinks will happen when
That
he
wouldn't
dies.
surprise me because I feel
Because
like
I
Riley
remember
is very much an extension of Mike and
of
of the
Mike,
yeah.
Yeah.
and so I feel like that was stated in some interview or something, because he always talks about how the projects that he makes are kind of being like, his children can look at them and kind of learn about like his
Mm-hmm.
worldview and stuff like that. And so Riley was kind of speaking on his view of death. I think it also is what my fiance thinks. Like he said when he saw Midnight Mass for the first time, he was like, no one has ever put into words how I feel about what death probably is. I hope that there is something after. So I feel like I relate more to Erin's. So I don't know. That's kind of where we differ. Like he connects more with Riley, and I connect more with Erin in that monologue.
I think Aaron's last monologue too it's a lot like Riley's monologue, but it just goes a little further because Riley's monologue, because he's dealing with his own actions, is very singular based in his brain,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Aaron's is very much like more widespread. It is more like literally universal, about what happens to us and how we all serve each other.
At least none of those versions of the afterlife are like the one posed in Stephen King's Revival, because that one was terrifying.
I I do not know enough about Revival to make a comment. I need to. I'm like a third of the way through it. It's a very long book.
This
Oh
is
wow,
just a
you're
statement
chugging
for
along.
anyone listening to this right now. If you have not read Stephen King's Revival, I need you to read it. And as you are reading it, like maybe the first like 7/8 of the book, you're gonna be like, I don't get why everyone says this is so scary. Like this is not scary. And then the last like maybe 30 pages, you're gonna be like, this is terrifying, and you will just be staring at the ceiling like, wow, I just don't even know. Like it will cause existential dread. But I highly recommend it.
I found it comforting.
Maddie, what do you think happens when we die?
Maddie, what does
Okay,
happen
I
when we
was
die?
I feel like for animals, it's probably closer to what Erin was describing for her baby. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
animals haven't harmed anybody. Like, they're just here
Well,
to
and
be good. And
I don't think they have any kind of like awareness of death. I think it's like I know to stay out of danger because of some kind of just inherent trait that they have, but like I don't know.
I
Where's my
mean,
dog? Do you
survival.
understand
They
what
want to keep
happening?
surviving.
Survival, that's the word.
Do we want to listen to Erin's last
yes.
monologue?
Yeah.
Yes.
All things. Apart. All of us. Apart. You, me, and my little girl, and my mother, and my father. Everyone who's ever been. Every plant, every animal, every atom, every star, every galaxy. All of it. More galaxies in the universe than grains of sand on the beach, and that's what we're talking about when we say God. The One. The cosmos. And its infinite dreams.
Oh man, it's
You said it,
so
Maddie. Was she
good.
barking?
Yeah, she barked. She had things to
Oh.
say.
It's just
Oh
beautiful.
man. It really is. I feel like that is just one of the most like comforting things I've heard when it comes to processing and just accepting death. And I think this show in
It
general
really,
like
like,
helped me a lot with that.
it really puts things in perspective. Like, I feel like that final monologue is trying to say that, like, all these, like, little petty things, like, in our daily lives that we might think are important, like having the latest whatever it is that you collect, or like going on that like fancy vacation, or like getting that raise or something like that. But I mean, ultimately, none of that matters because it's like we come from dust, we return to dust. Like,
Yeah.
and also, I feel like
Yeah.
it like advocates for treating other people well, or like having compassion or empathy, because
Yes.
it's like we are all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's that
and
whole
it's
like leaves of grass thing where it's like, yeah, you can be one single thing, but you're existing within this entire huge like ecosystem, and we have to treat each other well so that we can continue to maintain this. And we've lost sight of all of that. So it's
Like,
nice to have that message just
yeah, and
floating where people can hear it.
it's really beautiful because the first monologue that Erin has doesn't talk about her mom, but in this all-encompassing
Yeah.
monologue she has at the end, she does specifically mention like we're all from the same kind of material, my mom, my dad. So it is this very beautiful I know Kelsey has seen this. Riley, have you seen 28 Years Later yet?
No, I have not. You can spoil
Okay,
it.
I
It's
can't
fine.
no, I don't want to spoil it for
no,
you,
because
but
you need
No.
to see it.
I can talk around it.
Okay.
That
Mhm.
ending scene that
Yes,
has
I
Ray
know
Fiennes in
exactly
it,
what you're talking
it's
about.
kind of like the theme you get from that. Riley, once you've seen it, you'll understand.
I'm a
But
little
there's not much
nervous
more I
now.
can say. Don't need to be nervous. I think it's the
It's
idea of
not it's not anything scary, but it kind of it ties in really nicely with this monologue.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's nothing scary. It's I think it made me cry.
It,
I
yeah,
got
it was.
really
I
close to
Okay,
I
well,
crying
now I'm
for
teared
my
up.
excited.
ears. Yeah, it
I
was a
love
really
that.
beautiful moment and like a contemplation on life and death and what it means.
Mm.
Um, so that's I got very much remnants of that as well because I've seen it so recently. But we all are in it together, and we let these silly things kind of pull us apart. But in the end, like we're all made of star stuff. We're all made of the same thing, and we should take care of each other.
Yeah. And at this point, I feel like who says my girlfriend and I were just talking about this, and there's also an episode of Futurama where it happens, but like they keep going forward in time and everything just keeps repeating. Like it's completely circular. So who says we haven't done all of this before and we're all literally like parts of each other? So why
Like,
Either,
why?
I mean,
yeah,
it's like reincarnation and past lives and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I don't think I clocked it until right now that the song that they chose to go over top of Erin's monologue at the end is like is
It's
so
near,
good.
is it the
It's the
Were
same
you
song
were
that's
you
playing.
there when they crucified the Lord and they sing about
oh,
that?
okay.
So it's very much like a song of like sacrifice, and it's
Uh huh.
exactly like Erin sitting there because she's very much like she's like kind of like a Christ figure. A lot of them fit this kind of
Mm.
Christ figure mold, where they like willingly give their lives to save everyone else.
Oh,
I mean,
that's what I wanted to point
And
out in
it's not
terms of
about self.
yeah,
she
but
did make
with
a sacrifice because she like distracted and basically let the
And it's
angel
yeah.
kill her so that
and
she.
the sacrifice she made wasn't for her. It wasn't for the people on the island. It was for people that she did not know. That she knew that if he got away, he would hurt other people. And she's like, I've never met the people on the mainland. Not a lot of them.
Yeah,
Like
that
I
that
don't know
line.
the people I'm gonna save, but it's worth it.
Oh,
Um,
but no, in Riley's monologue, I was going to point out that the wishful thinking that he has, unfortunately, speaking of sacrifices, his body is literally turned to ash. So I don't know how much of that could come true when he's talking about like feeding the bacteria in him and all of that. So I don't
his
know.
ashes
It's
will go
he.
in the water, and that will
Yeah,
feed other things.
I
and
don't know. It just makes me sad.
matter cannot be
He's
created or
scattered for the
destroyed.
wind. Well, that's
It can
true.
only be
Yeah.
recycled, so it's gonna
Yeah,
end
so
up going into something.
something else that'll be born. It's like when
And I guess
like
he literally like saved all of those people, so I guess it's fine. His
yeah,
death
it's like
did not. It was not in vain.
a supernova exploding and like a black hole will eventually lead to like new nebulas and galaxies. So it is a cycle of like death and rebirth and death and rebirth.
And
Space is crazy.
if
It's
he
wild.
if Riley had not let Erin know the
Mhm.
situation in the boat, then they would not like that group of like her and Sheriff Hassan and Sarah. I can't remember her last name.
Dr. Sarah.
Dr. Sarah would not have had like the foresight basically to organize and do what they needed to do to be able to attack the angel and prevent
Yeah.
him from getting off the islands.
Yeah. There's a lot of sacrifices that are made at the end of Midnight Mass.
And I feel like they're all from the people who like are actually, believers and not just doing that. Like Bev Keen is not one of those people where
Nope.
Annie Flynn is, who has shown you like who she really is and like her beliefs and that she is a good person because she is willing to sacrifice that for her. Not even her son is ex son's ex girlfriend and like some random kids.
I like when Sheriff Hassan's son is the one who throws the flame into the building.
Mm,
He's the one who does it, right? Even though he knows that's the last place he'll be able to go either. He's like,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean
after his
it's
dad gets shot.
there's like the contrast between all these like people who were considered like outcasts in the town,
Mm,
like that didn't like fit in, and then Bev Keen, who like people kind of view as like this kind of like model religious woman, and then at the end they're the ones that are all like the outcasts are the ones that are making the sacrifices that actually benefit people, and then Bev Keen, spoiler alert, dies cowardly trying to dig a hole in the sand. So it just kind of
And I
shows
think out
you.
of those people, other than Erin, all get a very human death.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that as well because it just, I think, sticks with that theme.
So what do you all think happens when we die?
God, I knew someone was gonna ask this.
I had to. You can't have a monologue about what happens when we die and not ask, what do you think?
All right, okay.
I'm very much in the belief of Erin's last monologue. I think, we are the cosmos dreaming of itself. I think that we die and our energy goes into other things, and not only that, but the people you touch in your life, you leave a little bit of yourself with them that they get to carry out into the world. So we're all connected. I don't believe in an afterlife. I don't believe in a heaven. I don't believe there is some void that we all get to go hang out in. um it would be
And we
Yeah,
very
all
that would
hung
be
cool.
nice.
around until we cycled back through, but I don't think
I
it
I
works
would
that
like
way.
to be able to be cycled back in, but
That would be like there's a game that we play at one of the summer camp sites called Nukem, and it's like you have to throw this volleyball over a volleyball net, and if it drops, whoever doesn't catch it is out, but if your team catches the ball again, then you get to come back in. So when you were talking about like cycling, and that kind of reminded me,
oh,
like, what if the afterlife is like a game of Nukem, and it's like, oh, like I'm on the
Ooh.
sidelines waiting for something to happen, and then, oh, I'm going back in.
I thought you were going to
That's
say we
kind
played
of
this Christian game, and I was like, what game are you playing at camp?
No, no.
Very different.
that just reminds
Um,
me of like the scene in The Boss Baby where they're just like a assembly line of babies just being sent down to Earth. It's like that's us just waiting.
I don't I don't think that I necessarily agree in a heaven, like at least not as like a physical place. But I
Mhm.
feel like there is
Something.
something that happens to your consciousness or something. I don't really know what, but like there have been things that happened where it like felt like a getting a sign or something from a loved one
Mhm.
who had passed. So that
Mhm.
makes me think that like maybe their consciousness continues somehow, but I don't know. I think that might be more of me like wishful thinking that something does exist because it feels like too final to just be like, oh, like they died, they don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it's like an what's the movie with Jimmy Stewart? It's a Beautiful Life, where they're all just like clouds.
Uh,
Like the clouds are talking to each other, and they're supposed to be like the angels and stuff, talking about like, oh, Clarence, you need to go down to this guy. Here's his backstory, so you know what you're getting into. We're all
oh
just
my god,
clouds
they're like
blinking at each
guardian
other.
angels.
Maybe.
I I think that's where like I'm right in the middle of where you two are though, because separating like energy and consciousness doesn't make sense to me, or like keeping them together, I guess, because I feel like they're two different things. So yes, maybe my like
Maybe the consciousness
energy,
goes on.
yeah,
That's
I don't know.
yeah. I feel like I mean I it's not like you're gonna exist in like some physical form or like be like
Right.
an angel or like something like that. But like I don't know. I feel like there is some way that energy goes on somehow. I don't really
Well, and
understand
I'm
it, and
wondering
it's
if
not
it's
something that I would, but
yeah. I want to think it's almost like a Horcrux that like all the things that I touched and whatever it's just sort of broken up and I have very like fragmented pieces of it, but each piece is still kind of existing on its own, so I still exist just in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what I guess I know that my stepdad died one time, but then came back to life, and he had a DMT fever
Oh,
dream
it's
where
like
a
what?
nun was giving him a guitar lesson. So maybe that's what happens. I don't know.
There's that book about the kid who's like, I died and then I saw Jesus in sneakers.
Oh yeah, and then he was like, "Yeah, my mom told me to say that," and I think they got in trouble. So
It's kind
don't
of
believe that
like
little kid.
I mean, so I don't want to go into like the full details of this book.
Oh,
No,
juicy.
but
Oh.
like it's a book. It's not. But like in
Oh, okay.
the Lovely Bones, when they kind of after they
Oh
die and
Oh,
they can kind of
yeah.
look down on people. Like, I don't
yeah,
know. It would be nice if there's a way that you can kind of look down on
it
people. I don't
would
I
be.
know.
Okay, so I think it's nice, but then, like, as someone who is here on Earth, I think if that were true, does that mean that people are watching me do everything?
Masturbate. Is that
Like,
what
do I
you were?
never
Yeah.
have
Okay,
privacy? They're watching me, and all statuses of bodily fluids happening.
I mean, that's like the Truman Show, I guess. I don't know.
Love the Truman Show. It's so good.
But what a nightmare! Oh my god, can you
Oh my gosh,
imagine
I
watching
the
me scroll
Truman
on my
Show
phone
is
and the weird while I'm pooping and like all the gross stuff I do? No.
well, and it's just like in the Truman Show, like his wife was like gonna have a baby with him. Like she's essentially like a sex worker in a way. Like, and
Oh
then that
god.
baby is just gonna like also like probably just be followed and watched like a second version of Truman. It's really messy.
I have not seen this movie in so long, but I remember it, yeah, giving me an existential crisis the first time. So I'm good.
So good.
Oh, but speaking of like heaven and what it actually like would
Yes.
look like or whatever, I do like that in Erin's monologue, she does point out like, yeah, we don't need rivers of gold, we don't need a big mansion, like
Yeah.
whatever you people are like trying to, it's like the preachers like Jim Baker who owned a bunch of cars and stuff and was like making a little heaven on earth, but that's never been the point.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something really beautiful about uh, heaven just being that you are loved and you aren't alone. And I'm like, yeah,
And
that
that's nice
sounds
because
really
that is something
nice.
like you can have that. So even if you don't believe in an afterlife, it's not unachievable, unattainable.
Yeah, and that's really all you need anyway to be loved,
All
to
you need is
not be
love.
alone when you don't want to be. I mean, there's probably people that are like, I just want to be alone, and that sounds terrible to me. But I mean, I'm sure if you wanted to be alone, there was an option. But
Hey, if that's your idea of heaven, then have at it. I don't care as long as you're not hurting people. You're doing the whole mantra is what can we do for each other, and
but
I
yeah,
feel like the shows these monologues specifically kind of are a good example of that and a good place to start for people.
I am so bummed though that Mike Flanagan is not going to be adapting Revival anymore. It was in the works
Yeah.
like years ago, and then it was called off. But because like that again, like to go back to that story, there is a character who is like obsessed with like what happens after we die, what happens after we die, and like tries to do all these experiments and stuff.
And maybe you
And
don't want to know.
that would have been well. I mean, you do know because there is a
Well,
conclusion in the book, but
but maybe
again,
I
that
didn't want to know. You know what? Those cycle through. Mike might come back to the rights at some point, so you never know. Also, good alternative. Nightmare Alley, I think, had a lot of similarities between the book revival. Obviously, very different, but if you want the
wait,
same
is
aesthetic,
The Del
the
Toro
Guillermo
thing?
del Toro?
yeah, yeah. Those.
I need to
What year
rewatch
was that?
it.
I think it came out in like 2020.
I haven't seen that. I need to watch it.
It's got a lot of similarities in terms of like atmosphere and
But like Revival has very different tones. There's like three different
oh yeah.
parts. So which part is the tone similar?
Oh, the carnival. If you want the carnival stuff,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
If you have not read Revival, you need to read it. Just telling
I
everyone.
agree with
Okay,
that.
I'll read
Very
it.
good. Okay, I need to read The Stand.
We
What do you guys
we
have
should
next?
do once you read Revival, we should do a bonus episode on what we think Mike's adaptation would have looked like if he
Oh
could
my
have
We
god,
adapted
could
that.
yes,
we could
yes.
always do a book club as one of
Book-
our mini monologues. We would
Yeah,
just have to assign a book and give ourselves enough time to read it, and then we could
Well,
talk about it.
Revival is a good one. It's not very long. I remember I got it. We were at a family friend's house for 4th of July like 4 years ago, and I read almost all of it in the pool like within a day, and I just kept thinking like, this isn't scary. Why does everyone say this is so terrifying? This isn't scary. This
And then it
isn't scary.
happens.
And then the final 20 pages, and I'm like, so.
Ooh,
Yeah, there's some
okay.
parts that I do still think about. The ending. I don't know.
I'm intrigued. Don't tell me.
Yeah, we
No,
won't tell
no, you
you,
don't.
but Eric
Where's
and
my
I still
phone?
reference
Gotta
it.
get it from
Like,
the
oh my god,
library.
this is like revival-esque, or like, oh my god, it's like that scene in Revival. Like, it's very memorable.
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We might be doing a book club. Haven't decided yet. We'll let you know.
Or at the
Oh,
very
I
least,
love
a
a good
bonus
book.
episode.
Hell
Yes.
yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
All right, that's a wrap. Bye,
Bye.
guys.